All right, guys, if you're watching this, I admire that you're doing some home study. Very good of you, and I really appreciate that. Keep up the good work. For this first one, Liam's baked 24 cookies. So if we pretend, that was all 24 cookies there, and he's given a third of them to his classmates, we break that up into 3 pieces. Essentially, he's got rid of that bit there, given them a third to his classmates, and we're asked how many does he have left. Well, some of you will probably intuitively be able to recognize that, 24 broken up into 3 pieces, that's 3 pieces of 8. And in this case, if he's given 8 away, he's got 8 plus 8 left. He's got 16 left. The other way that you would recognize to do this one, if you have a third of something, of a number, so in this case, we've got a third of 24. The word of means multiply. So we have a third of 24. We have 1 over 3 times 24, which you guys from class should know that that's the same as 24 over 1, and then that becomes 24 over 3. 24 divided by 3 simplifies down to 8. So a third of 24 is 8, and if we've given away a third, then we have 24 minus 8, we have 16 left. Okay. Let's see. For this next one, Ava's got 6.5 litres of paint, and she uses, so another word for like loses or subtracts, okay, so minuses, 2 3/4 of a litre of paint on the fence. How much does she have left? It's going to be that 6.5 minus 2 3/4, okay. In order to do the subtraction, we're going to need common denominators. So we're going to need 6 and 2 out of 4 minus 2 and 3 out of 4. And then this 2 out of 4 and 3 out of 4, they are, because we're subtracting a fraction that's larger than the other one, they are a bit of a problem. So what we're going to do, the fraction over here for 2 out of 4, it's going to knock on the door of its whole numbers, or 6 whole numbers. And it's going to say, hey, I need you to help me out. I need to borrow a whole number. And what that's going to look like, that 6 is going to become a 5. And that whole number, so the one that we're missing there would be like, a 4 out of 4. That's going to get thrown into this part of our mixed number. So we're going to get 5 and 6 out of 4. All right, so adding that 2 out of 4 to this 4 out of 4, we get 6 out of 4. Still subtracting the 2 3/4. Bringing that all together, actually I'll keep it on the same line. Bringing that all together, we've got 5 minus 2, which is 3. I was just looking at the big whole numbers there. And then looking at the fractions, 6 on 4 minus 3 on 4, we're left with 3 on 4. And that is my final answer. We've got 3 3/4 of litres, L for litres left. Cool. I suppose I probably could have said in this one here that we've got 16 cookies left over. All right. For this one here, Noah's got 2 2/3 of a kilo of flour. He buys another 1 1/3 kilos. How much flour does he have altogether? So he's got 2 2/3, and then we pick up another 1 1/3. Adding the whole numbers together, we get 2 plus 1, which is 3. And then adding the fractions together, we got 2 over 3 plus 1 over 3, which gives us 3 out of 3. You'll notice that these are already the same denominator, which makes our life very easy. 3 over 3, that's actually another whole number. So we actually just have 4 kilos of flour. Awesome. Miss Patel, she's got 7.5 meters of fabric. Okay, for argument's sake, this black line here could be her 7.5 meters of fabric. And she wants to cut it into pieces that are each 3 1/4 meters long. So that could be 3/4 of a meter there. That could be 3/4 of a meter there. That could be 3/4 of a meter there, and so on. Essentially what you can see that we're doing here, we're dividing this whole line up into pieces that are 3 3/4 long. Keyword there being divide. So what we're going to end up doing is 7.5 divided by 3 out of 4. I've written that wrong, sorry. Divided by 3 out of 4. And in order to do this, this mixed number is a bit of a problem, so we need to turn that into an improper fraction. 7 times 2 plus the 1, so 7 times 2 is 14, plus the 1 is 15 out of 2, divided by 3 out of 4. Now we'll use our KFC method, keep the first fraction the same, so we'll keep 15 out of 2. Flip the second fraction, so that's going to become 4 out of 3, and change that divide to a multiply. So we'll end up with 15 times 4, which is 60, 2 times 3, which is 6. 60 divided by 6 is 10. She has 10 pieces. Oh, I'm running out of space there. 10 pieces of fabric. All right. Last one on this page. Mr. Green, he's got 8 1/4 litres of juice. Beautiful. He pours out 1.5 litres for a party. Okay, so he's losing 1.5 litres. The rest will be poured into bottles that hold 3/4 of a litre each. How many bottles can he fill? Okay, so this second bit here is actually a second step. So I'm going to address that later. For now, though, he started with 8 1/4 litres and he's poured out 1.5 litres. Let's work out how much we've got left so that we know what the rest is going to be for the next part of the question. So we've got 8 1/4 minus 1.5. We need common denominators for subtraction. So we're going to convert this to 1 and 2 out of 4. Once again, I have a situation where I'm doing 1/4 minus 2/4. Can't do that, so I'm going to have to borrow. So we're going to get 7 and 5 out of 4. Minus 1 and 2 out of 4. 7 minus the 1 is 6. 5 minus the 2 is 3. So we got 6 and 3/4. Beautiful. Now, answering the second part, we have the rest will be poured into bottles that hold 3/4 of a litre each. How many bottles can he fill? Essentially, we are sharing this 6 and 3/4 into bottles, and each of these bottles holds, 3/4 of a litre. This is another situation where we're dividing, right? Sharing is is a real life situation where we're dividing. So I'm going to have 6 and 3/4 divided by 3/4. Once again, mixed fractions a problem, so I'm going to do multiply and then add. 6 times 4 is 24, plus the 3, 27 over 4, divided by 3 out of 4. We are going to end up with 27 out of 4 times 4 out of 3. I have neglected to bring a calculator here with me, so I'm going to work this out off to the side here. 27 times 4, but you could, of course, just do this in a calculator. 4 times 7 is 28, and then 4 times 2 is 20. So 4 times 20 is going to be 80. Adding those two together, we're going to get 8, 2 plus 8, 108. So 27 times 4, we're going to get 108. And then I suppose probably could have done this a slightly easier way, but we get 12 on the bottom, and that becomes 9. So we can fill 9 bottles. And I will actually just touch on that easier way with the 27 over 4 times 4 over 3. Ooh, 4 times 4 over 3. We can do what's called like the butterfly method. We can look like across the fractions. So I can actually treat this as 27 over 3 times 4 over 4 and do some simplifying. So 27 over 3 is 9. 4 over 4 is 1. 9 times 1 is just 9. And you can see we get the same answer either way. Okay. Question 17. Ella, she's got 5 3/4 of a litre of lemonade. She pours 2 2/5 into a jug. How much has she got left? Once again, this is a subtract, right? We're getting rid of 2 2/5. I'm going to need some common denominators for this, so I'm going to go to 20. Right, 7 out of 20. To get this one to 20, I'm timesing top and bottom by 5. So I'll get 15. Over here, I'm timesing top and bottom by 4. So I'm going to get 8. Now I can carry it out. 5 minus 2 is 3. 15 minus 8 is 7 out of 20 litres. Beautiful. Jake, he's got 3.5 kilos of rice. He buys another, so sounds to me like an addition, 2 3/4 of a kilo. How much does he have altogether? Well, to add these together, we need common denominators. I'm going to go ahead and make this 3 and 2 out of 4, adding on the 2 and 3 out of 4. 3 plus 2 is 5. 2 over 4 plus 3 over 4 is 5 out of 4. And I've actually picked up an extra whole number in here, so this becomes 6 1/4, and we are dealing with kilograms. Sophie's got 6 2/3 meters or 2/3 of a meter of ribbon. She wants to cut it into pieces that are each 5/6 meters long. We've actually just done a question very similar to this, you might recall, previously. So in this case, we're going to end up having to convert our mixed number to an improper fraction. Same as before, times and then add. So 18 plus 2, we've got 20/3 divided by 5/6, and I have mistyped that, or miswritten that. 20/3 divided by 5/6, we end up with 20/3 times 6/5. Just to be clear, that was using our KFC method. Once again, I can, with the multiplying fractions, I can do some simplifying. So I can treat this as 20/5 times 6/3, which makes it 4 times 2, or 8. And that's my final answer. And that was that same thing that we did earlier with the little butterfly idea, where I did like crossed these two together with these two. Okay. All right, Mr. Lee, he's got 9 1/4 of a meter of wire. He uses 1.5 meters. You might notice this is very similar to a question from earlier. And the rest is being divvied up into 3/4 of a meter long. So we'll carry this out. Same as previously, we need common denominators. Whoops. Common denominators. We need to borrow in order to do the subtraction. 8 minus 1 is 7. 5 minus 2 is 3 out of 4. And that is going to be my answer in meters. All right, last one. Olivia has picked 36 oranges. She gave 2/3 of them to her neighbors. How much does she have left? So this is a case where we have to work out what 2/3 of 36 would be. So we multiply in order to find that out. You guys will know that that's 36/1 times 2/3. And I can once again use this like butterfly idea where I treat this as 36/3 times 2/1, doing the little like matching up those ones with the arrows. So like the 2 and the 1 became a fraction, the 36 and the 3 became a fraction. So we end up with 36 divided by 3 is 12, 2 divided by 1 is 2. We end up with 24 oranges, but that's how much she gave away, right? Because we multiplied by 2/3. So how much does she have left? Well, she's got 36 minus 24 left. She's got 12 oranges left, okay? And look, that's the worksheet. I know me explaining it in this video is not the same as a full lesson, so if you still have any questions, please come see me before the test. Come see me any lunch break, before school, even after school. I'm there most days, okay? Keep up the good work, guys, and I'll see you in class.